Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we bring you with another episode of Will It Run? This time we have a free Bolens by MTD. I know a couple of other companies use basically the same engine, body, layout, all that stuff. Push mower that we have, and this thing is very clean. So this was a factory mulcher. It has the side discharge, no option for a bag, but I mean, if you guys take a look, decals, everything, this is really clean. We do have a Briggs & Stratton 125cc engine that you guys can see right there, and judging by the looks of this guy, I took a look at the engine oil. It's dirty, but it's filled up all the way, so that's good. The gas smells a little varnishy, so it might be a little bit old, but given the condition of this guy, it looks great. We're just going to put some fresh fuel in, see if we can get it to start, and then worst come to worst, we may have to do a quick carb clean, but overall not too bad for a pretty solid unit. So we'll go ahead, get this outside, and see if she starts. So we got this guy outside. It's really lightweight, really nice. I could see if you had a small yard and just needed to do some basic lawn upkeep, but there's the sticker for you guys in case you have a similar model. But overall, looks really good. Let's see if she starts. So let's go ahead, add some gas into the system. We'll go ahead and prime it a couple times. Primer bulb looks good, so that's not too bad. And let's see if she starts. Okay, trying. Let's do a couple more primes. Let's see what we get. Okay, so that's good news. We have spark, we have fuel, we have air, and she's cutting out a little bit, but the fact that it runs is always a great starting point. I'm guessing probably just needs a carb clean. Like I mentioned, the gas smelled a little bit varnishy when I first got it. So let's go ahead, take the carb off, and see what we got. Another thing that I thought of is that we may potentially not be getting enough air, but I don't see that this filter could be too dirty given the condition of the body overall. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be too bad, but go ahead, pop the cover off. We have some debris in there, but I mean, we can give it a try to start, but we'll see. Nope, we definitely need a carb clean, so we'll go ahead and we'll continue to take this guy off. And due to some excessive background noise, we're now back in the nice quiet garage, so we'll continue taking this carburetor off. I also noticed that we'll need to take this front cover off just to have better access to taking the carb off of the engine. So we just have 1, 2, 3 bolts to undo to take this guy off, and I'll also want to drain the little bit of fuel that I put in here just so that way it's not spilling out everywhere when I disconnect the fuel lines and take the carbs off. So I'll go ahead and get to it. Yeah, it looks like the recoil assembly is tied to that as well, so go ahead and gently set that down, and we can inspect over here as well. Not seeing anything too concerning, just rogue leaf right there, a little bit of grass right here. I'll go ahead and clean that out now that we got this guy off, but that gives us better access to our carburetor right over here. So I'll go ahead, clean this guy up, and drain the gas. And another thing I noticed, and this might actually be the reason why we're not getting a full run scenario. You'll see that the magneto is right here, and there is a lot of resistance, and I hear some grinding on both sides. So this guy's not properly gapped, so what I'll do is I'll loosen both of these nuts, or bolts I'll say, right here. Stick a business card or a piece of paper or something in between the flywheel and our magneto, just to give it enough spacing, and then I'll say before we tear into the carb, let's see if we can just do that and see if we get a run scenario. So let's adjust these guys and go from there. So here you can see we have our cardboard in between the magneto and the flywheel. So we'll go ahead, push that guy nice and tight, tighten these back up, and go from there. So we shove a nice gap there. So we got our gap nice and set over here, cleaned up a little bit around here just to get some of that extra grass out, and now it looks like our carb is a simple pull off, and then I'll disconnect the throttle linkage as well in the process. So and be careful, because there's an O-ring that you saw just fall down there. You'll want to take that guy and make sure that's kept safe as well. So there we go. That guy was on tight. So let's see what we got pulling the bowl off. Okay, so this engine's from 2017 now. This thing is clean. I mean, I'll go through each of the jets, but I'm not expecting to find anything too crazy in here. Pin looks good. Float, needle, everything's clean. I know. Taking a look right there. Not too bad. If we look, there is a jet right there, but where my finger is up here, you can see right through there. That's crystal clear. Same thing, you have your fuel inlet. You won't be able to see it, it's too hard. But down this tube right here is where the fuel comes in from the tank and into the carb, right where the needle sits. So that's the seat. I'll go ahead and clean over there just to be safe. And looking down the main tube up here, this guy looks clean as well. But we'll go ahead, spray a little bit of carb cleaner, see what we can do, poke a few wires through, and get that guy nice and cleaned up. So after a healthy dose of carb cleaner, I'm going to go ahead and just take this thin wire that I had lying around and go ahead and just make sure all the jets are nice and cleaned out. Now, I do have an order for an ultrasonic parts washer coming in, but until then, we'll just kick it old school. So, seat looks nice and good. Go ahead. This guy, I mean, you can see right there. I mean, I don't know how well it's coming out on camera, but that guy's nice and clean. There's no debris anywhere over there. And as I was shooting in carb cleaner, say through here, I was seeing it come out the bottom. And while spraying it in the middle over here, nothing too bad. So overall, not too concerned. We'll just go ahead and see what we can find. Our throttle plate moves nice and freely, and so I think we're ready for reassembly. So we'll go ahead, get our needle back in our float and get that guy in its seat. Meanwhile, taking our pin and just sliding that through. Oops. And this pin is just long enough that it interferes a little bit with the side of the bowl, but nothing we can't fix right here. There we go. Just to do a test. Nice and good. Then we'll reconnect our bowl, lining up our screw holes right here and getting that guy set nice and tight. Guys, nice and snug, and we'll go ahead and get back on the engine. So back at that engine, we'll get that O-ring that fell out, and we will go ahead and seat that back into our carburetor, noting that it sits nice and flat. There are no grooves or issues with that guy as it sits. And with that ready, we can go ahead, reconnect our throttle linkage, and slide back on our engine. We'll also go ahead and reconnect our fuel line down here. And then we'll go ahead and reconnect our primer bulb assembly, noting to connect up our breather up here as well. And I promise you guys I haven't been doing this all night where it's pitch black out. That's just winter time in the Midwest. So everything's clean, put back together. I got some fresh fuel in there. I'm going to prime the system a couple of times and hopefully get this thing started without angering any of the neighbors. So cross our fingers and hope this works. So go ahead. Run it a couple times. Go to start and see if she runs. And that right there is some good news. So I think as a final touch, I'll go ahead and give it one more clean over, get the blade nice and sharpened, and save it for the springtime. So overall, not too bad for a free find. I went ahead, threw in a little bit of stable in the tank, threw a little bit of gas in there as well, and I'm gonna run it through the system just for a couple minutes, and then we'll be ready in the spring. So thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.